Sorry about that. I had a what? There's a personal issue going on in the house. I had to help out on the house. So what? I'm on my final part. I have 60 minutes on my phone. So I'll continue reading Lord of the Rings. But once I'm done reading, I only have like 2 pages left. I will comment and talk about other things. Right? Where was I again? I was around here. When your pony stayed with me, they got to know my lumpkins. They smelt him in the night and quickly ran to meet him. I thought, look for them, and with his words of wisdom, take all their fear away. But now, my jolly lumpkin, old time's going to ride. Hey, he's coming with you, just to set you on the road. So he needs a pony, for you cannot easily talk to hobbits that are hiding when you're on your own legs trying to trot beside them. The hobbits were delighted to hear this and thanked Tom many times, but he laughed and said that they were so good at losing themselves that he would not feel happy till he had seen them safe over the borders of this land. I've got things to do, he said. My making and my singing, my talking and my walking, and my watching of the country. Tom can't be always near to open doors and willow cracks. Tom has his house to mind, and Goldberry is waiting. It was still fairly early by the sun, something between 9 and 10, and the hobbits turned their minds to food. Their last meal had been lunch beside the standing stone the day before. They breakfasted, now off to the remainder of Tom's. 2 more pages and I'm done for today. Tomorrow I'll finish off the remaining 2.5 pages of chapter 8, and I'm moving on to chapter 9, which is the sign of the prancing pony, obviously. Provisions meant for their supper, with additions that Tom had brought with him. It was not a large meal, considering hobbits and the circumstances, but they felt much better for it. While they were eating, Tom went up to the mound and looked through the measures. Most of these he made into a pile that glistened and sparkled on the grass. He bade them lie there free to all finders, birds, beasts, elves, or men, and all kindly creatures. For so the spell of the mound should be broken and scared, and no wight ever come back to it. He chose for himself from a pile of brutes set with blue stones. Many shaded like flax flowers. You might hear the noise upstairs, or the wings of blue butterflies. He looked long at it, as if stirred by some memory, shaking his head and saying at last, "Here is a pretty toy for Tom and for his lady. Fair was she who long ago wore this on her shoulder. Goldberry shall wear it now, and we will not forget her." For each of the hobbits he chose a dagger, long leaf shaped and keen and marvelous workmanship, damasked with serpent forms in red and gold. They gleamed as he drew them from their black sheaths, wrought of some strange and metal light and strong, and set with many fiery stones. Whether by some virtue in these sheaths, or because of the spell they lay on the ground, the blades seemed untouched by time, unrusted, sharp, glittering in the sun. So Tom Bombadil gave the hobbits weapons, obviously. They gave them weapons, like swords, whatever it is, right? They gleamed as he drew from their black sheets, wrought or some strange metal light and strong, and set with many fiery stones. Whether by some virtue in these sheaths or so, because of the spell that lay on the ground, the blades seemed untouched by time, unrusted, sharp, glittering in the sun. Old knives are long enough as swords for hard people, he said. Sharp blades are good to have if Shire folk go walking east, south, or far away into dark and danger. Then he told him that these blades were forged many long years ago by men of Westernies. They were foes of the Dark Lord, but they were overcome by the evil king of Carn Dûm in the land of Angmar. Few now remember then, Tom murmured. Yet still some go wandering, sons of forgotten kings walking in loneliness, guarding from evil things, folk that are heedless. The hobbit understands the words, but as he spoke that he had a vision as if they were great expanses of years behind them, like a vast shadowy plain over which there strode shapes of men tall and grim with bright words, and last came one with a star on his brow. Then the vision faded, and they were black in the world. It was time to start again. They made ready, packing their bags, landing their ponies, and the new weapons they hung on their leather belts under their jackets. Well, Tom Bombadil gave them weapons, obviously. Feeling they were very awkward and wondering if they would be of any use, fighting had not before occurred to any of them. As one of the adventures in which their flight would land them. At last they set off. They led their ponies down the hill, and then mounting, they trotted quickly along the way. They looked back and saw the top of the old mountain on the hill, and from it the sunlight on the gold went up like a yellow flame. Then they turned the shoulder of the downs, and it was hidden from view. Though Frodo looked about him on every side, he saw no sign of the great stone standing like a gate. And before long they came to the northern gap, and rode swiftly through, and the land fell away before them. It was a merry journey with Tom Bombadil trotting greatly beside. So Tom Bombadil is now journeying with Frodo and them. I believe Tom Bombadil goes with them to the. He travels with them to like the sign of the prancing pony, and then he leaves. Tom Bombadil is like traveling with the hobbits now, right? It was a merry journey with Tom Bombadil trolley gaily beside them, or before them, on Fatty Lumpkin, who would move much faster than his girth promised. Tom sang most of the time, but it was chiefly nonsense, or else perhaps a strange language unknown to the hobbits, an ancient language whose words were mainly those of wonder and delight. They went forward steadily, but they soon saw that the road was further away than they had imagined. Even without a fog, their sleep at midday would have prevented them from reaching it until after nightfall on the day before. The dark line they had seen was not a line of trees, but a line of bushes growing on the edge of a deep dike, with a steep wall on the further side. Tom said that it had once been the boundary of a kingdom, but a very long time ago. He seemed to remember something sad about it, and would not say much. They climbed down and out of the dike through a gap in the wall, and then Tom turned due north, where they had been bearing somewhat to the west. And that ends my read-along for today. So I have no time. I can babble on for 10 more minutes. Then I'll end. I'm pretty tired today. I'll end the video here, and I'll what? Upload it, take a shower, go to the store, and get what? Get beer and smokes, order my shawarma, and then I'll what? Enjoy the show, obviously. I'll order my shawarma. That's right. Right? Yeah, so pretty much what I read so far. Tom rescues them from the Barrow Downs. You know what I'm saying? Frodo and them are hungry. You know what I'm saying? They're happy that they're rescued. Obviously, they eat some food. Obviously, and Tom gives them these weapons, these swords, these good swords, obviously. And now Frodo and them are continuing their journey, past the Barrow Downs, and they're now on their way to the Prancing Pony. And Tom, I believe, gives them back their ponies. Their ponies could sense the fear of the Barrow Downs. That's why they didn't go, when Frodo and them went to the Barrow Downs, they didn't have their ponies with them. Because remember how in Lord of the Rings, when Aragorn was taking the path to the dead, and the horses ran away. Was something similar like that with the Hobbits' ponies. When they sensed the Barrow Downs, they ran away, obviously. And Tom Bombadil found their ponies, and he gives them back their ponies. He has his own pony, right? And then he gives them these swords, and now Frodo and them are on their way to the Prancing Pony. And Tom is, I believe, journeys with them for a little bit, and he goes back home. And that pretty much ends what I read so far. I'm giving you a vague, very small detailed description of what I read. And everything else is just overlong detailed descriptions that Tolkien describes in this book, obviously. Hence why now you guys understand why I say the movie is only like 20% of the book. There's a lot of things that Peter Jackson cut out that are not in the movie, man. The Barrow Downs, Gildor, Tom Bombadil, Goldberry, Frodo and Sam preparing to leave the Shire, the Shadow of the Deep Past, all that stuff. Bilbo's 111th birthday, a lot of that stuff is cut out. His birthday's in the movie, but a lot of the stuff are cut out, obviously. You see what I'm saying here? Right? Yeah. Hence why when I say, Last of Us is better than Lord of the Rings, I really mean it. Lord of the Rings is an amazing story. Story's a bit boring. The book is a bit boring. I'm going to keep saying that. but it's not on the same level as my book. As my book, you're looking at an amazing story. You're looking at the best story ever told in motion picture, man. Best story ever told in motion picture, and the best what? The best fantasy novel ever written. As Last of Us is an amazing story. Fucking amazing story, man. I'm going over my book right now. Every time I go over my book, I'm wowed, I laugh, I'm hooked because the story is fucking amazing. The world building is not as good as Lord of the Rings, obviously, but the story is better than Lord of the Rings. As for Last of Us, you're looking at a deeper plot than Lord of the Rings. You're looking at something very, very deep. Hence why those actors chosen for Xanax are very, very lucky, man. And hence why I want to start Sky so bad, because I want to turn Last of Us into a movie so bad, man. That's why I want to make that Last of Us movie, because I want to turn Last of Us into a movie. Because I'm gonna make billions of my book sales, I can now fund my own movie. If I make 5 billion, 6 billion, 7 billion, 8 billion, 9 billion, me and my wife can easily fund our own movie for $907 million, which is nice, obviously. Looking at a top-notch movie, man. Top-notch technology, looks like crazy. And once you read my book, you guys will finally see, oh my god, if I even adapted this to the big screen, this would be the best story ever told in motion picture. It'd be the best story ever told in motion picture, obviously. Hence why Peter Jackson and Mel Gibson are going to really compete for the job. And they're really going to what? They're really going to what? They're really going to want to get their hands on my story. As once they read my book, they're never going to be the same again. And they're going to so badly want to direct my movie, man. Because you're looking at the best story ever told in motion picture. You're looking at an amazing story, man. You guys think I'm crazy now, but once you read my book, you'll finally see what I mean. Last Hope for Zanus, well, what? It'll be the best story ever told in motion picture. You're looking at an amazing story. I have 4 minutes left to talk. I'll be done here. And that's why my wife is so proud of me. It's because of me you get to live this amazing life with your husband. You get to live the rich, amazing life with your husband, obviously. See what I'm saying here? Right? Hence why for the last one was saying these actors have to get interviewed by a psychologist. I won't have the psychologist interview them in front of my wife. No. The interview I want to keep it private. I'll have the psychologist, they go into this room and the psychologist interviews them one by one. I can have the psychologist go to they can do the interview in my office. In my office, I'll have them sit in the desk and they can do the interview in my office while me and my wife are in the boardroom. The psychologist will be asking the actors all these questions one by one. They're all going to be fucking nervous. Do you have young children? Do you have a mental illness? Have you ever had a mental breakdown before? Have you ever had nightmares before? You ask them all these questions. They're all like, no, yeah, I'm comfortable. You know what I'm saying? Are you comfortable with horror? Are you comfortable filming in a very twisted environment? Are you comfortable with all that? And oh, yeah, I'm comfortable. You know what I'm saying? And then once all these actors sit down on the couch, they're all going to be like, holy shit, how scary is Airtet? And after I sign on the actors, so, hey guys, I want you guys to see the concept arts. I show them the concept of Airtet, and they're all like, they're all taken back, and they're all like spooked. Holy shit, Airtet's fucking scary. Yeah, man, that's how scary Airtet is. Again, you guys already know how scary he is. You can see the future. You know how scary Airtet will be. As I have the keys, you guys can see the future. You guys already know how scary Airtet will be. You're looking at what? The devil himself. You know how scary Ephesus will be. Ephesus will be the devil king bat in the mountains. And Airtet will be the devil wolf king in the south. See what I'm saying here? Right? That's why Last of Us will have the strongest. All my movies will have crazy, crazy worldwide buzz. Something fucking crazy. But Last of Us will have the craziest buzz because it's my first movie. And it's a movie, it's an amazing story. Because once the world leaves that book, they're never going to be the same. At the same time, Airtet's the devil himself, man. So imagine me, an innocent man, Your tactics, obviously, I'm going to war against the devil himself, man. The most horrific being in movie history. That's why a movie will have so many, and those actors are going to be fighting demons. Those human actors are going to be fighting literal demons and devils. You know what I'm saying? Little demons and devils. Hence why what? You're looking at a generational story, and these actors after the film's ends are going to be legends. Because they just fought the most horrific beings in movie history. Because you're looking at little devils on the screen. If you thought those orcs in Lord of the Rings were freaky, you know what I'm saying? Eritale make those orcs look good. Because that's how scary Eritale is. That's why those actors chosen for Zanes are really, really lucky, man. Because they're going to be fighting literal devils on screen. They're going to be experiencing that crazy thing with me and my wife. The buzz of the movie, with Eritale being the devil himself, the crazy technology for world building action sequences, horror, Ephesus, you know what I'm saying? Because I also want them showing Ephesus in the trailer too for a couple seconds. That's why these actors are lucky. They're going to get to experience all that crazy buzz with me, as well as the horror of Eritale being devil, so they get to experience that buzz alongside me and my wife, man. This thing fucking crazy. Worldwide crazy international buzz. This thing fucking crazy. Obviously. I'm running out of time here. This is it for Ivan Omer. Obviously. This is it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed this This video, I'm going to keep saying this, my series is soon coming to end. As once I make that final announcement, I will end this video. Stay tuned tomorrow. I'll be finishing off my Lord of the Rings Chapter 8 read-along. This is Ivan Omer. I am signing out. I'm going to go to the store, get a pack of smokes, order my shawarma. Peace.